or thank you. Hey, you guys are crazy about this topic, right? I mean, um, imagine a network of a living entity on the planet as large as the distance from here to the sun. Yes, imagine that, right? It's a huge network. Well, now imagine a network of a living entity on this planet. That is 1,000,000,000 times longer than the distance between the Earth and the Sun. 1,000,000,000 times more. Just imagining something like that. The distance to the Sun is tremendous. Imagine it 10 times longer. Imagine it 1,000,000,000 times longer than the distance between the Earth and the Sun. It's truly mind-blowing. Let's talk about the research and scientific discoveries that have been made on the subject of fungi on Earth. Okay? Let's get into the details. Alright, scientists have discovered that there is a network of fungi that is absolutely enormous. And that would show us, they say, how these entities, or these living beings, so to speak, well, they are not only super extensive, but they are also a fundamental part of the planet, of life itself, right? So, according to what is shown, right? Let's see if we can put it on the screen, right? What you see illuminated here is the network of fungi. See, do you notice? There's an area that doesn't have that life. In that sense, it's the whole Sahel, even part of Spain, right? No, actually, it's part of Morocco that reaches and part that doesn't. Spain does not. But Spain does reach, but this whole area is practically inert when it comes to fungal life. Although there is some, right? There is, but it's very little, right? Compared to what you see, well, I don't know, in Mexico, in Canada, in Brazil, Peru, over there. Well, in these regions of between Mongolia, China, all that area, there's a lot. Life, right? Let's get into the details of this discovery and why the international balance is so relevant. The global balance, let's say, of life would be within these fungi. According to what a group of scientists from different countries report, they created the first global map of what is considered the Earth's circulatory system. That's what they call it, the Earth's circulatory system. A vast network of underground fungi, right? They are much more extensive than scientists previously thought. They claim that the Earth has this system that would cover 110 trillion kilometers, and that they are essentially essential for what? For soil fertility. The nutrients for soil life, carbon capture, food security, climate regulation, all of that is there. Where is it? Shoot, I forgot the name. Here we have a real expert, we read about her somewhere. She's an expert in the field of mushrooms, specialized in that. Let's see if you can remind me. Here, Trid, I'm bad with names. So, right now, we'll put it here. But no, man, really, I hope she gets encouraged and we can interview her here so she can give us her opinion about this, right? About the importance of mushrooms on the planet. According to what is reported about mycorrhizal fungi, which form an immense underground network, they live associated with plant roots and facilitate the exchange of water. Caribel, of course. Caribel, she already sent me a message. Big regards, Caribel. There she is. We need to interview Caribel, right? Hopefully she'll give us the chance to understand this, right? Suddenly the importance of birds, the importance of, the importance of fungi as well. Huge, right? According to what they claim, the underground life that lives associated with roots and plants facilitates the exchange of water, nutrients, and carbon, thus playing a crucial role in the functioning of ecosystems, which makes it essential for sustaining life and climate balance. Now, this team of researchers, led by the Society for the Protection of Underground Networks, has used artificial intelligence and machine learning technology and robotics to create the first global map of this living infrastructure and highlight how intensive agriculture and this acceleration of destruction and, let's say, the role of the chemicals that are suddenly used for agriculture, and these are harming these fungi. The publication is in the journal Science, right? These networks are made up of millions of extremely fine filaments. Let's see if we can show the image of those scientists working there in the soil, let's say. The researchers confirm it. There you see Toby Kears and Marilyn Sheldrake during the sampling in the mountains of Bhutan. Yes, a sample of what the fungal networks are like there in that area. These extremely thin filaments are called hyphae, Hyphae, which act like a kind of highway through which water and nutrients travel between the fungi and the roots of the plants. These scientists refer to them as the blood vessels of the circulatory system, as if they were veins, right? Of the planet, so to speak, that keep this place in the universe alive, right? The map reveals, for example, that grasslands hold about 40% of the mycorrhizal fungi infrastructure, mycorrhizal or mycorrhizic. It's mycorrhizic. See, that's how it is. And, well, they show the mapping. Look, here's the other part of the planet that we hadn't seen before, but there you can see how those fungi are integrated and connected to each other, right? It's honestly impressive to see this. The extensive networks of underground fungi transport about 4 billion tons of carbon dioxide to the soil every year, which is equivalent to 11% of all emissions directly related to humans. Although research has warned that large agricultural areas have a density of these fungi that is 50% lower than what they used to be. The study, published in Science, adds to a previous one published by the journal Nature, which included the digital tool to help see what these types of living entities are like, or where they are located, so to speak, right? The researchers collect data on the density of the networks from 16,000 soil samples taken from all over the planet. And then they developed a machine learning model that they incorporated into data layers of deserts, tundras, and forests to predict the density of those networks in ecosystems that hadn't been tested. Well, it's an approximate calculation. Obviously, that's not what's being done. At least they're trying to figure out how this whole network is, so to speak, right? So, well, just be aware of that. That's how this is being handled. And in the meantime, let's move on to other important matters. Speaking of scientific discoveries, there's also another achievement. This time, the United Kingdom is about to change the history of Antarctica forever. Why? Well, because a study has been conducted that, they say, changes what we know about what's inside the Arctic. Yes, so let's get into the details of what has been discovered. They claim it's a huge internal structure, a giant geological structure that they say is located 3 kilometers beneath the ice. And it's reopening questions about the Earth's past and also about the future of Antarctica. A crack opened up, they say, in the planet's history that had been hidden for thousands of years. Scientists have managed to determine or detect. Scientists from Durham University announced the discovery of a gigantic geological structure hidden in East Antarctica. The formation remained buried under 3 kilometers of ice for millions of years, completely invisible from the surface. The researchers have been these geological areas have been invisible to humans and the planet for millions of years. I mean, no living being could see it because that area was frozen. The researchers have named the area East Antarctic Fan-Shaped Basin, a huge network of interconnected subglacial basins. The most striking thing is that these basins form a kind of gigantic radial pattern. It's as if the continent had opened up from an area near the South Pole. The system includes some of the most important subglacial regions of Antarctica, among them the Vilex and Aurora basins and the area where the famous Lake Vostok or Vostok is located. According to experts, this structure could be the key to understanding how the ancient supercontinent Gondwana broke apart a few 100 million years ago. Australia. Researchers believe that this ancient area could later influence the separation of Antarctica. The discovery not only helps us understand the past, it could also help us understand the Antarctic ice and what lies beneath those layers of ice, right? One of the main aspects researchers say is that the calculations and information will allow them to calculate or recalculate things like the rotations that are happening in the southern part of the planet. They clarify that this is not a lost city or an artificial construction, but rather a gigantic geological structure created by deep natural processes. I mean, they mention it because then the theories will start, right? Like, that's a lost city or a city that, well, I don't know, right? We'll probably see it. We'll probably be talking about it, right? That the theory is going to come up. Well, another topic I mentioned to you a while ago. More details are now available about what happened in Brazil. Because, look, this incident happened, right? In Brazil, 2 helicopters collided. I mean, 2 helicopters somehow collided. Obviously, that caused a lot of, well, chaos in the area, especially towards Rio de Janeiro. Because, well, I mean, a helicopter accident is rare, but for 2 helicopters to collide, that really seems super strange to me, honestly, right? So given this situation, let's take a look at the area, right? Specifically, this is, let's see here. At that point in Rio de Janeiro, let's take a look. There in Brazil, let's zoom in. It's at that point, look, in that area. A break at Badeira before, right? One of the aircraft crashed into a private parking lot, and the other one ended up a little further away, let's say. Both helicopters reportedly left 6 people dead. And well, obviously the situation became a disaster area, right? It crashed in a parking lot. The collision between these helicopters happened this Sunday morning. It left 6 people dead so far. A total of 20 electric cars have been completely destroyed, right? I think those are BYDs over there. Look, all BYDs. I mean, it looks like I think it was a BYD parking lot from what I can see. I mean, look, there they are. They're all BYDs. Yeah. So 20 BYDs there. That's 20 electric cars destroyed. Among the victims is the American singer and songwriter Oliver Tree, right? I honestly don't know him. Oliver Tree. Let's see if anyone knows him. But let me check who he is. Let's see. American singer. It says here, I've seen him before. I've seen him, but I don't know who he is or the music he plays. But I've seen this guy many times already. Well, he loses his life. Just look at that. He was born in 93. He died in 2026. Oliver, it says singer, producer, comedian, rapper, actor, songwriter, and filmmaker. He signed with Atlantic Records in 2017 after his song When I'm Down went viral. Right? That's the thing about him. He's from Santa Cruz, California in the United States. And well, incredible, right? Incredible. Also, there were 2 Argentinians among the 6 who died. I mean, there was him, Oliver Tree. There were 2 Argentinians as well. A friend named, I think, Aaron Mercury was going with him as well. This one. No. He wasn't going with him. He wasn't going with him. The thing is, well, he lost his life, right? This person, along with 6 other people, lost their lives. Obviously, it's terrible. That's how it is, right? There was an Argentine guy there, a YouTuber named Gaspar Prim, known on social media as Gaspi. That name sounds pretty familiar to me too. Let's see who he is. I mean, this is terrible. It's Gaspi. Of course, it's not possible. Let's see, seriously. I don't want to say something that's not true. It mentions helicopters involved in the collusion, along with Brazilian music producer, Argentine audiovisual director, and famous Argentine YouTuber Gaspi. He was really going. Let's see, could it be? I don't really know him that well. But yeah, look, there he is. Gaspi died. Check it out. Yeah, he's very controversial, very funny. Well, for his style, right? For his style, let's say. I saw him because of Shokas, since sometimes Shokas' shorts just pop up for me. And Shokas, and I've seen shorts with him, with Gaspi, and also with Ibai, right? Who's worked with Gaspi there, right? Very well known. Better known to me, right? Than Oliver Trujillo, whom I don't really know, right? But I guess they were doing some kind of collaboration or something like that and lost their lives. Just imagine that. Now you can really see the black eye, that one. What does the parrot eye look like? Well, that's how it looks on me, right? That's right, Francisco, isn't it? My first eye, my first black eye. But, well, it's good that it was from hitting myself with a racket and not from something else. Well. But anyway, what a thing this is, right? It's, look, Gaspi. He is Gaspi. He has a very, I would say, a very particular sense of humor. I don't know how to describe his humor. I don't really understand it very well, honestly, you know? Well, his humor is very much his own and his unfortunate passing, obviously. And before, well, Oliver Tree, Gaspi, I don't know who the others are. Maybe there were other influencers there, other people, or I don't know. We'll see about that. But yeah, the situation is really intense. This helicopter accident, right? Which songs, he says. Let's see. Let's check which songs. He had done this one. There's one that's supposedly viral. Let's see if we can play it. He says it's called When I Am Down. Let's see. Let's check. When I Am Down. See. I Am Down. A song by Lear Train, just a tiny little piece. Let's see if we recognize it. Let's see. Let's skip ahead a bit past the introduction. It's really long.
My eyes and my mouth and my legs just gave out. Why in the world would...
Well, that's it. It doesn't sound familiar to me, honestly. No, this one doesn't sound familiar to me. At least, no, it doesn't sound familiar to me, but I'm checking. Maybe it's not that one. I don't know. Yeah. What's What We Time versus Liberty? Let me check if that's the one. I think it is. Or What I Am Down. No. Let's see. Could it be this one? It's the one YouTube shows. That's the first one. YouTube shows me. I guess that's the one, but if it is, well, it's not like it has a lot of views either, right? I mean, it says there, the song is 6 years old. Look, here it is. Also, what's this one? Yeah, this must be it. Yeah, this one has 64 million views. I think this must be the one. Here we go. Here we go. It's the same, but no. I think I've seen something like this before, maybe part of the video or a picture, since I have the image in my mind. Nice headphones, right? Those are some impressive headphones. Well, it's I don't know if anyone recognizes him, honestly. I don't really recognize him. He says, maybe if you dig into his story, like my mom would say, only at home, something like that. Yeah. I mean, this one, the Argentine comedian, him, I do recognize him. And just recently, I saw him in a video with Ibai, a video with Chocas, which I also don't have much time to watch. But, well, sometimes you see him on Chocas, just quickly. But, and that's why I said, look, well, I don't really understand his style of humor, you know? It's like he's tough and he goes and interviews people. And, like, I don't know. I mean, I still don't get it. It makes me laugh because he's always wearing a suit, I think, right? And, well, he's done collaborations with really big Spanish-speaking YouTubers like Ibai, right? So, well, that's how it is, right? So, yeah, I mean, headphones like those, right? With those, you won't hear anything outside, but definitely, right? Well, that's how things are. That's how things are today. Can you believe it? It's crazy, right? When I saw the report about the helicopters, at that moment, nobody knew about that issue, but obviously all this started to spread, right? Everything surrounding this issue, right? Yeah, it's pretty intense, isn't it? Let's move on to something else. Parrot's eye. I'd never heard that before. Good afternoon. It says, how are you today? Adilson, how are you? Good afternoon, Angelica Resendiz. How are you, Angelica? Greetings, good afternoon to everyone. And if Caribel is watching us, Caribel, we formally request an interview from here, and we want you to tell us about this. We need your reaction. We need to know what you think about the studies. For those, and well, let's see if you can explain it to us. If Caribel is up for it, we send her a big greeting, and to the whole community, let them know that they have a space here, right? That you can also reach out on Telegram and send us a voice message. My email is there too, and so on, right? You already know how things work there, right? He says, honestly, if you hadn't mentioned it, Pepe, I wouldn't have even noticed. Yeah, no. I mean, I was still thinking about Black Eyed Peas, says Francisco Arce. How have you been? By the way, hey, yeah, Black Eyed Peas, what happened to them? How have they been? What are they doing? I actually have 2 or 3 of their songs. I mean, from the newer artists I like. Well, I don't know if they're that new, but I think Candy Lamar is really good. Musically, I find them very interesting. Tyler, the Creator, has some songs I really like. I think I have quite a few of his songs. Who else? From the newer ones in English, right? We're talking about music in English. I think I don't know. Maybe if someone else reminds me right now, if they have them there, right? That listens to them more or less often. I think they're the ones I listen to the most. JP Mafia, JPG. It's like JP Mafia. That's what we call them. But it's JPG Mafia, right? Which is like JPG Mafia. He's more indie, harder to find. In fact, I think he's never done a concert in Mexico. I think he's really indie. It's like New York rap, but it's kind of weird rap because it's not regular rap. It's very experimental, but I like that. You know, I like that he does a lot of things. In fact, he has this one, a production where he mixes it with mariachi is really great. I mean, him singing with rap and some really strange mixes, and at the same time with mariachi and with a singer, a woman singing mariachi with him. That combination is perfect. When I heard it, I decided to recommend it to you because I think young people will like it. I mean, I thought the combination was really good, you know? I mean, and I feel like he's not very well known in the Spanish-speaking world. He's not very popular in general. I mean, I think he should be because he's very original from my point of view. But interesting. And you can listen to him comfortably in the car, on the subway, wherever you're walking. I mean, it's cool. It's very easy to listen to. I mean, sometimes there's music that demands too much attention, and sometimes you don't want that either. You know, you don't want to get too distracted, right? Too much noise. Sometimes, especially in the car, I don't really like that. And this is a really cool combination. Like, it energizes you and keeps you going. It's nice, right? That little tune. Another Peruvian, but he's not new. This MF Doom, I think he's really good. He already passed away, right? MF Doom. In fact, his face was never known. He wears a mask. He's a man from the United Kingdom, by the way. A father of several kids, like just a regular guy. He wanted to be a rapper, and maybe due to his age or another reason, he didn't want to show his face. He became famous for wearing the mask. MF Doom, but it's been a long time. I mean, he even passed away and everything. New albums from him keep coming out, interestingly enough. But as I understand it, it's like he made a lot of music. And his family keeps releasing it, right? But anyway, that's how it is. Various media outlets are reporting Iranian attacks targeting American objectives in Kuwait and other countries. Let's talk about it right now. Come on. Because things are definitely getting intense. So let's go over there. Let's move on to the next report. The next report is about what's happening in the United Kingdom. You know what it said there? Because we knew something was coming. It was obvious. It said something. Things are about to change in Hormuz. Things we're already seeing. But really, this is already changing. So the title might change, although we're going to start right away. Let's go over there now. Things are happening, right? So let's get into the details of what happened, because the United Kingdom seized a Russian ship. And that's also, well, there's already footage of it too. And it happened in a very dramatic way. And also what's happening in Hormuz, what's happening in Iran. Let's get into the details. Let's go.